public hearing for the sale of public properties, lots 1400 and 1300 at 505 Southwest Wanapa Street.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm gonna do a little staff report. We'll take any comment from the public, and then you can close the hearing. And you could, typically, we wouldn't actually take action on these two resolutions until we get to new business, but sometimes in the past, you guys just want to take action then. It's certainly up to you guys, but the normal process would be to do it as new business item, but I'll let you guys figure out how you want to do that. Okay, so our staff report. The issue on the sale of these properties is how shall the city complete the financing of the new emergency services station and pay back the interfund loan to the City Light Capital Reserve Fund. The recommendation this evening is to complete the public hearing per ORS 221.725 and approve resolutions R-091310-1 and R-091310-2, directing staff to sell lots 1400 and 1300 at 505 Wanapa of the old fire station in order to complete the financing of the new emergency services station, pay back the interfund loan to City Light, and maximize the revenue for this public asset. So just to review how we got here, it was at your last meeting that you directed staff to execute a lot line adjustment on the old fire property divided into two more equally sized lots. We brought on Terra Surveying to do that work. The description of the two properties was passed out this evening. It's with your, just take a look. You can see it says Terra Surveying up top. So if you want to see that, it's all that survey legal stuff. But anyway, it does describe the two lots and the easements that we're going to need should we sell them. So you have that, and we completed the land use work for the lot line adjustment with no appeal of the process. So we are very close to having everything done. We haven't completed the Mylar on this, but we can do that assuming that, well, we're planning on doing that, and whether you agree to sell it or not, it will be divided, so just FYI. And then we need to fulfill our obligations for ORS 221725 by stating the proposed sale in general terms of, and then an appraisal or other evidence of the market value of the property. So I'd like to do that for this public hearing. So the nature of the sale, purpose in general terms, is really twofold. First, it is to complete the financing of the new Emergency Services Center, pay back the interfund loan to City Light Capital Reserve Fund. And then the second is to encourage development of these key properties in downtown and place them back on the tax rolls. The purchaser of lot 1400, that's the lot that actually has the fire station on it, would receive about 0.23 acres of property and about a 2,500 square foot light industrial commercial facility. The property includes 150 lineal feet of primary street frontage. The purchaser of lot 1300 will receive about 0.24 acres, a little more, but barely, of property in the Overlook Plaza improvements. This property includes about 135 feet of lineal feet of primary street frontage. Both properties are Zone D for downtown, and per the city's code, permitted uses include apartment units above street level floor, museums, theaters, galleries, art studios, dance studios, photography studios, parking garage, personnel services and offices, restaurants, retail stores, less than 15,000 feet, service and repair, and recreational facilities. Automotive-related uses such as service stations and drive-up windows are not allowed as an outright use, but you can, as we know, do that as a conditional use permit. The evidence of market value of these properties is based on a market study recently done by real estate agent Greg Colt. I gave you his work as part of this packet, and respectively, this was $310,000 for lot 1400 and $165,000 for lot 1300. Okay, so that's the nature, general terms, and then the evidence of market value for the ORS. Now I just want to talk a little about your decision on whether to approve the resolutions to sell these or not. For lot 1400, there's been little controversy in selling that, and indeed we've had 2 buyers that have expressed interest recently on selling that, or buying it. So we think we can get close to that number, and we would like council to adopt that resolution and clear the path for the sale of that property. Selling lot 1300, which includes Overlook Plaza and the parking lot, has been a little more controversial and has been criticized as potentially causing the post office to shut down, in addition to relinquishing an important public asset. To respond to these 2 comments, first, regards to the post office being shut down, all of our research shows that the post office has adequate access to offload its mail, and nothing operationally prohibits them from continuing to operate. In addition, I actually went to the owner and I said, look, if we sold lot 1300, would you shut down the post office? And he said just categorically no. He plans on keeping that operating, whether the city owns that or somebody else does. Let's see. In addition, there is no statute or law that prohibits them from operating this without additional parking. We did do a little research on it. That building is 1,000 square feet. Per today's code, they need 2 parking spots to run it. If you go to the back of the property, you can see there's space for probably about 9, but there's certainly space for 2. I mean, there's already 3 parking spots right behind it, which would fill that code requirement. Let's see. And then I asked the planner, because it is a bit of a unique situation where you've got a property owner that's using a city parking lot, if you will, and then what happens if the city decides to sell that? Does he have some kind of recourse? And the planner said basically no. And I put his response to that question in the staff report. Let's see. Okay, so that's the only comments I want to make about the parking and access for the post office. On the comment of relinquishing an important public asset, again, this resonates as a value claim by members of the public, and certainly is something that should be discussed. Staff's only response is to say that when we had our town hall meeting in 2007, the broad consensus of the attendees of the public was to sell the entire property, including Overlook Plaza. I went back to the minutes of 9/24/2007 and read about some folks came and talked about their experience at that town hall. And one of the members of the public came up and said, look, we asked for a show of hands at that meeting. And there were a good 30 or 40 people up there. And the large majority, by a show of hands, said sell the whole property and don't put any restrictions on it. So whether that public consensus is still valid or it has changed since, that's debatable, and I'll leave that to council on how you feel that is. We haven't done additional opinion survey work on this item, and we leave it to council if you'd like to do that before you choose to pass the resolution. Let's see. But what we do say is that we don't feel like selling the lot is a regulatory issue on parking or whatever. We think it's a resource issue at the end of the day. A resource and somewhat of a values issue. And the resource issue that we have to come to terms with, if we don't sell it, we're just creating approximately $150,000 hole in the payback to City Light Capital Reserve. We've got to fill that hole some way. And there's certainly options out there, but a lot of those involve raising revenue. There's not a lot we can cut. There's not one big fat cut out there, $150,000, that we can make up that funding. So that's, I think, a key point that everyone needs to keep in mind as we deliberate on how to, whether to sell this property or not. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. You can turn it over to the public and get some feedback on that.
Thank you. Okay, this time I'll open it to the general public to make any comments they wish to make.
Kate Stewart, Cascade Locks. Number of people at the meeting. One person came up to you and said out of 30 to 40 there, most of them did not raise their hands. That's checking with people? Really? Honestly? I don't think it is.
Okay.
Please, are you going to interrupt me again? Do I get my 5 minutes?
Only if you start.
What, not being sarcastic? Or what?
Yeah.
Tell me
Yes.
exactly what it
Yes.
is. Do I have to speak nice to be here, or do I
Yes,
have the podium?
Preferably.
Preferably. Your preference?
Everybody's preference. If you
There
can't
you go
speak-
again,
if you
saying
can't
it's
speak
everybody.
nice-
Are
if
you
can't
sure
speak
it's
nicely to
everybody?
staff-
I'm speaking
If you
just
can't
fine to
speak
staff.
nicely to staff, in your opinion.
This is public comment. I don't
Excuse
think
me.
that we have the
Yeah, he's not
right-
gonna let you
Excuse
talk
me?
either,
No, there's
Tiffany.
no
He doesn't let
excuse.
anyone
He's just-
talk anymore, and that's part of the damn problem.
Stop.
She's not, she was making an observation.
Is
That's all
it
she
my
was doing.
meeting or is it not?
No, it's the
No,
council
it's a
meeting.
Publix.
This is a public hearing.
Okay, we're gonna take a short recess.
Oh, good.
And,
You're not shutting me up, Brad.
yes, I am. As a
Then-
matter
Are
of
you?
fact.
Then what's
if-
the
Are you?
point
if
of a
you're-
public
if you-
hearing?
Okay, we're closing
Where
this
is the
meeting.
public hearing?
Do I need to escort you out? Excuse me?
No,
No, you-
because if you lay one hand on me,
No.
you're in trouble.
Okay, we're
You're
gonna,
in big
we're gonna
trouble.
take a recess and we'll come back.
Don't threaten me again.
Shut the camera off, please.
Do not threaten me again to lay a hand on me. Do you understand? That is assault and battery.
Okay.